Welcome back. So the 5 games tonight are done. We're going to talk about them. I've got a new notebook here. My wife got this for me. It's a little late arriving. It was meant as a birthday present, but mail being as mail is, it's here. And it's got a lot of lines there. I can get years of use out of this. I've gotten years of use out of much smaller ones than that. So, hey, kind of fun. All right. So we're going to start things off with the Colorado Avalanche in against the Detroit Red Wings. For the Avs, you could tell they were coming off of what was likely their worst game of the season against Boston, and they were bound and determined not to let it happen again. And their goaltending was better in this one too. So you get Francouz versus Greiss in this one. Early press by the Avs. Rantanen fires one high. Landeskog does not. He scores on what was a fantastic shift. All of it in Detroit zone. Basically, they ice the puck early, and Arizona scores as Landeskog from Makar and Helm at 1:12. So Makar continues his incredible run, scoring-wise. Zadina then can't bury one on a rush. There's a power play for the Avalanche. That was killed off by Detroit. Shots are 4-1 for the Avs at 9 minutes. They would press with 8.5 minutes left, and eventually it goes in. It's Jost from O'Connor at 11:47. So once it's 2-0, the Wings really do start to pick up their play. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4 shortly after that. There's a power play for the Wings with 1 minute and 40 seconds left. Hronek has a blast that's saved, but it's 2-0 Colorado after the first. Second period, Avs finish the kill. There's a press by the Wings then at 2 minutes. Much better first 5 minutes for the Wings because, again, they're down by 2, so they know they have to push this game. Then we get a delay game call. Wings power play. The Avs did kill it off. But with 9.5 minutes left, the shots are 8-3 for the Wings. And eventually, they break that goose egg. It's Zadina scoring from Seider and Larkin at 11:35. Scored on a rebound. And it's not that Seider was trying to score. He was taking that shot hoping for the rebound, and Zadina puts it in the net. So it's one of those ones, it's sort of like when a player bounces it off the boards and intentionally misses the net trying to get a goal for his partner there. And it's the same thing here. I'm not intending to score. I just figure if it goes off the goalie's pad, whoever gets that rebound, it should go in. Wings then press for the tie. Bertuzzi has a net drive. That was saved and held. Nichushkin denied and close. The Avs get a power play. That's killed off. Then there's a press by the Avs with 2 minutes left, and eventually they score again. It's Kadri from Rantanen and Taves at 18:19. And then in the final second, with like 1 second left in the period, there's a power play for the Avs. Clearly they don't score in that second, so it rolls over into the third. The Wings kill it off, but very quickly after that, Colorado scores again. It's Nichushkin for Burakovsky at 2 minutes and 11 seconds. The Avs then press for another. The Wings would press back. Puck deflects out while they got their pressure going on. Newhook then had a wraparound. That wouldn't go. The Wings with a 3-on-2. The puck bounces on Suter before he can fire it. Power play then for the Wings, and they score on it to bring some tension into the game. It's Fabry from Seider and Larkin at 9:38. And it was on a face-off win, which is not unusual in this game. And in general right now, we're seeing a lot of goals on set plays on face-offs. Kind of fun to see. So the Wings then look for more. The Avs would press with 9 minutes left. Lindstrom was then denied at the Avs net. Wings press with 5 minutes left. Compher has a rush chance that deflects out. Detroit pulls the goalie with 2:59 left because they're down by 2. Then they become down by 3 in the final minute. It's Landeskog with the second goal of the game from Rantanen at 19:21. And so Colorado, minus Nathan MacKinnon, win this game 5-2 on the road. They go to 37-10-4 for Detroit. They fall to 23-23-6. Shots, 11-7 Colorado in the first, 13-10 Detroit in the second, 14-10 Detroit in the third. Final shots actually favor Detroit, 34-31. Power plays, Colorado 0-3, Detroit 1-3. Hits, 12-11 for Colorado. Francouz saves 32 out of 34. He played very well. Greiss saves 26 out of 30. And so for Colorado, they bounce back from that loss against Boston, and they move on. All right, next up, Edmonton in against Tampa. So this is one of those games that may feel to Edmonton like, well, we might have deserved a better fate. But it shows just how dangerous Tampa is and how quickly they can turn a game around. So Smith versus Vasilevsky was game number 700 for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who, by my count, did not get a point in this game. Early chances for both teams. McDavid has a rush chance net rush that's defended. Shots are 3-2 for the Oilers at 6 minutes. They were very sharp early. Then there's a press by the Oilers at 7 minutes, but the opening goal is scored by former Oiler Maroon. He scores from Cirelli at 11:57, and it was a rush chance after a big save by Vasilevsky. So Vasilevsky with the denial at one end, puck goes the other way, Maroon puts it in the net. Happens very often in hockey, almost as often as those set plays on faceoffs. Point then has a rush chance, mask save by Smith on that. I know the other night John Garrett was talking about he doesn't like goalies making saves with their masks, but yeah, it's a thing that goalies do now because Demko does it plenty, and so it's done there as well. McDavid then tries to beast mode one, and that was defended. McLeod then passes rather than shoot on a play where he probably should have passed. With 2:07 left, there's a power play for the Oilers, and they score on it. This power play has been heating up again. It's McDavid from Draisaitl and Barrie at 18:10. And then Kane nearly gives the Oilers the lead as they're pressing for more. But at 19:45, just very little time left in the period, Stamkos scores from Killorn and Sergachev to make it 2-1 in favor of the Tampa Bay Lightning after the first period. Second period, Bolts control it early. Vasilevsky denies McDavid. The Oilers press, but the Bolts are doing a good job shot blocking. The shots are 5-2 for the Oilers at 5.5 minutes, and then just past the halfway mark of the period. And again, it felt like it was kind of against the flow of play, but Point buries one from in close from Kucherov and Palat at 10:48, so that makes it 3-1 for Tampa, which you could see was frustrating for Edmonton because they were getting the opportunities and not getting the goals. Bolts then get a power play. That led to a shorthanded chance for Draisaitl that was saved. That power play is killed off. Perry has a rush chance that's saved, but he draws a power play, and it's very shortly after the last one had just ended. And Perry scores the power play goal as well. He scores from Sergachev and Maroon at 15:24. So Maroon with a goal and an assist. Zach Hyman would answer at 17:12 just to keep things interesting. Makes it 4-2. The Oilers then press for another, but it is 4-2 after the second period. Third period, Draisaitl with a one-timer. That goes wide. The Oilers have the early jump in that period as well. We get a delay of game call. That leads to a Bolts power play, and we get a parade of penalties from there on. We end up with like 4-on-3 and all this. They're all killed off. I was kind of glad they were. Draisaitl whiffs on one, but McDavid does not. He scores from Hyman and Ceci at 9:39 to make it 4-3. And then the Oilers are pressing to tie it. Benson's denied. Yamamoto misses an open net. It was after a whistle, but still. All Oilers with 4 minutes left. We get a scrum with 3:15 left. The Bolts press the next shift. You could see the intensity level was up. Goalie gets pulled with 1:35 seconds left, and Draisaitl ends up hitting the post. With 56.4 seconds left, the Bolts ice the puck. The Oilers call a timeout there. Eventually, it's an empty netter. It's Kucherov at 19:56. That makes your score 5-3 in favor of Tampa. They win this one. They go to 33-11-6 with the win. The Oilers drop to 28-20-3 with the loss. And they're seeing what most teams from the West have found out going through Tampa, Florida, Carolina. It's not fun. It's not fun going through these areas. Your shots, 9-5 Edmonton in the first, 11 apiece in the second, 10-7 Edmonton in the third. Final shots, 30-23 for the Oilers. Power plays, the Oilers 1-for-1. Tampa Bay 1-for-4. Hits, 34-29 for Edmonton. Smith saves 18 out of 22. Vasilevsky saves 27 out of 30. So, good game for Vasilevsky. Just the .900 save percentage, but still, pretty good overall game for him. And Tampa's going to be happy to come out of this one with the win. The Oilers, there's still some question marks there, but yeah, they played a really good game, and it was basically a one-goal game, and then there's the empty netter added to it. All right, next up, Jets and Winnipeg. Again, how many times have we seen Winnipeg now in a game where they maybe should get 2 points and they don't? In this case, the point's there, but there's just so many points they've left on the table, they've handed to opposition. And in the case of Dallas, this is a team that they are directly chasing in that run for a playoff spot. On the Dallas side, they needed to bounce back from a loss against Arizona. They need points, and they need to stay in the hunt for a playoff spot themselves. So it's Hellebuck versus Ottinger in this one. Tony Nato is denied early on a turnover. Hintz then had a rush chance that's saved. The Jets press at 5.5 minutes. And it is the Jets that open the scoring. It's Blake Wheeler from Pionk and Scheifele at 7:14. Raffle then had a rush chance that kind of fizzled out on him. The shots are 5 apiece with 7.5 minutes left. Heiskanen has a blast that's saved as the Stars would press. Stars get a power play. They were 0 for their last 8 at home. Doesn't get better tonight. Power plays become a problem. It's killed off, just the 3 shots. Ottinger denies Scheifele, covers up the puck there. Robertson line nearly sets one up, but coming out of the first period, it's 1-0 Winnipeg. Second period, 4-minute power play for Dallas. Really strong penalty kill, though, by the Jets, which has been a problem for them this year. They killed off the 4-minute power play, so it's a double, and they allowed 3 shots during that double power play. Jets have some pressure after. Sagan with a rush chance, that's deflected wide. The shots are 5-2 for the Stars at 8 minutes. So again, the Stars are out shooting them. Had been throughout a lot of the game, but the Jets are ahead on the scoreboard. Jets get a power play. We then get 39 seconds of 4-on-4. Everything gets killed off there. Scheifele has a net drive. That wouldn't go. With 3:47 left, the Jets get another power play. And what happens during this power play? A shorthanded goal. It's Jamie Benn from Rope Hintz at 17:50. The Stars then finish the kill, now tied up. Jets' fourth line presses with about a minute and a half left, and then in the closing seconds, Benn is denied. So coming out of the second period, the score is 1-1. As expected, this is a close game. Every game played between these two teams has gone to extra time. Third period, full power play for the Stars at the start of it. The Jets did kill it off. They were 5 for 5 on the penalty kill tonight, which ties a season high. And the Jets, the penalty kill has been a major problem. It was not a problem tonight. Power play then for the Jets follows, and they score on it. It's Scheifele scoring on the power play from Pionk and Connor at 4:27. Now, the Stars were upset because there was a high stick on this play that was not called. So the Stars were upset. You could see Rick Bowness was absolutely choked behind the bench that high stick was not called. And I'm thinking it was Scheifele that threw that high stick on, I believe it was on Benn. But anyways, it's not called. And yeah, the fans were upset. And then the fans tried to call another one after that, and the referee didn't. So the ref, you suck chants were pretty loud at that point in Dallas. Game getting kind of chippy at the Jets bench after that. Like, again, you could see the emotions were up in this. This is an important game. Pavelski's denied on a turnover. Guryanov is a fast rush. That's denied. He was not denied his next time at the net. He scores from Sagan and Benn at 13:35. Ties the game at 2. Really good three-way pass between them. So that forces overtime. Surprise, surprise. In overtime, the Stars control it early. Morrissey was denied when they got an opportunity. Sagan has a chance that bounced to the line or did it. So it's hard to describe this without dolls or without drawing with stickmen on the board. I'm not at that point yet, someday. But yeah, so Sagan bounces it. It goes off of, I think it was the blocker of Hellebuck, and it bounces over him, and it bounces onto the line. And then it's cleared off the line by, I want to say, Morrissey. But you could see the Stars celebrating, and the horn sounded, and the referee said no goal. So he reviews it. It crossed the line. Barely, but it's still across the line. So Sagan gets the goal at 57 seconds. That ends the game. Your final score is 3-2 for Dallas in overtime. They go to 28-20-2 with the win. The Jets drop to 22-20-9 with the overtime loss. 9 overtime or shootout loss points. There's too many points. Winnipeg's leaving on the table right now. Shots, 15-10 Dallas in the first, 11-6 Dallas in the second, 12-5 Dallas in the third. Both teams had a shot in overtime. Dallas the one that matters. Final shots, 39-22 in favor of Dallas. Power plays, Winnipeg 1 for 3, Dallas 0 for 5. The hits, 15-12 for Dallas. Hellebuck saves 36 out of 39. Ottinger saves 20 out of 22. So, pretty big game for Dallas, pretty big win. And again, for Winnipeg, they have to look at this and say, we almost had the 2 points in Dallas. And again, it's about trying to turn this around because it's absolutely going in the wrong direction for the Jets. All right, next up, Montreal. So this winning streak they're on right now, it really works out well for Montreal fans that were calling for Dominic Ducharme to be fired at least a month before Montreal did it. And now you're left asking yourself, so if Montreal had brought in Marty St. Louis as the coach a month sooner, what kind of difference might that have made? What would the record look like? Because Buffalo had handled Montreal 3 times in a row coming into this game. Tonight, it was not happening. So it's Anderson versus Montembeault. Early chance for Pitlick, that's blocked, as Montreal has another good start. Caulfield was denied on a turnover. Samuelson has a hit on Byron that draws a crowd. Byron would exit the game. He was very upset. He did not return. And with Byron's injury history, you have to wonder how long is he going to be out. He came back not that long ago. It's frustrating. You could see Marty St. Louis was upset when they told him that Byron wasn't going to come back. Anderson was sharp on some turnovers, and then Suzuki scores from Caulfield and Anderson at 6:52. So, yeah, the turnovers were a problem for the Buffalo Sabres and Suzuki with that 10th goal. Then the Sabres turn it over. Then they have to take a penalty, so the Habs end up getting a power play out of it. That's killed off and no shots. But the Habs pressed after it's done. Caulfield's denied in close, and Paling has a net drive that's saved. Excellent first period by Montreal. They're only ahead 1-0, but they're ahead. And that's something Montreal hasn't been able to say for a lot of this season. Second period, early press by the Habs. Both teams are turning it over. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Suzuki's awarded a penalty shot, and he scores his second goal of the game. 5:57, and he made it look easy on Craig Anderson. So it's 2-0 Montreal on that. The the Habs then press for another. So I'm going between games here. The Habs press for another. Skinner with a rush chance. Sherratt defends on that. Dahlin was screened Dahlin screened a shot. Dahlin's screenshot was saved. Man, and held. So that I worded completely badly. Anyways, power play for the Sabres. The Habs swore about it. I absolutely love the live mics for the refs. I love when they turn the mics on too quickly, and you can hear somebody going by talking about the call's BS, or it's the wrong bleeping call, or what the bleep is that. I find it highly entertaining, especially for the look on the ref's face of whatever, and then quickly turning the mic off, waiting for them to stop, and then the look while there's dead silence because the announcers don't want to say anything. They're waiting for the ref to talk. It's one of my favorite things right now in hockey that, players can be loudly heard swearing over the microphone. Remember the 2020 bubble playoffs when they would turn that all into mumbling? So weird looking back on that now. It was weird at the time because it was like, since when did swearing get garbled? So, power play for the Sabres. The Habs did kill it off. Just the one shot for Buffalo. Fitzgerald and Gallagher then had a scrap because that's what happens. Gallagher has to be frustrated with the fact that I think it's 15 games now he hasn't had a goal. And so you can see it's starting to frustrate him in his game. And then Josh Anderson takes a puck to the face, which didn't look great. He exited the game. That would be a tough blow for Montreal if he was out for any period of time. But it's 2-0 Montreal after 2. Third period. At 1:18, right off of a face-off, it's Caulfield from Suzuki. And so, yeah, Cole Caulfield has, I think it's 6 goals in 7 games now. He seems to enjoy the new coach. So all of the, he's a bust, it's gone now because the last couple of weeks he's been scoring goals. It's amazing how quickly that can turn around. Sabres press then at 4.5 minutes, I guess looking at the score clock and saying, what's going on here? Montembeault saves and holds on a shot from Krebs. Net feed to Evans, near miss there. Krebs then put one wide from in close. Sabres get a power play. There's a post for Tage Thompson during that. Montreal kills it off. Montembeault then denied Thompson soon after that. With 1:44 left, the Sabres pull the goalie because why not? They're down by 3. They got to do something. So Evans gets the empty net from Sherratt at 18:27 because Montreal might as well do something as well. Montreal wins this one 4-0. They've now won 4 in a row. They're 12-33-7 on the season. It's a miserable record, yes. Buffalo 16-28-8, but as miserable as this record is for Montreal, it's at least out of the historically embarrassing category that they were in as recently as 4 games ago, right? Shots 11-4 Montreal in the first, 14-6 Buffalo in the second, 14-12 Buffalo in the third. Final shots 32-29 for Buffalo. Power plays the Sabres 0 for 2, Montreal 0 for 1. Hits 14-13 for Buffalo. Anderson saves 25 out of 28. Sam Montembeault, 32 saves for his first career shutout. Kudos to Sam Montembeault, who's been, doing his best for years now, and he gets it. And the best thing is, he is the first Quebec-born goaltender to get his first shutout as a Montreal Canadian since Jose Theodore. Jose Theodore. Shea Theodore's never had a shutout. He'll never get one either. You can quote me on that. But Jose Theodore did. And so, yeah, that's pretty fantastic that Montembeault gets that. I was a fan of his in Florida, and he's starting to play like he did that time in Florida where he got called up and he wasn't too bad. So this has been a good run for Montreal so far. We'll see how far Marty St. Louis can take them this year, and it looks like another interim coach that might just lose the interim tag and maybe stick around, and showing that sometimes it's not just recycling coaches that work. Sometimes bringing in a brand new voice that's never done it before could be your best call. Let's go ahead and change boards. And finally, on this board, we have the Kings and the Arizona Coyotes. So I'm going to say this straight up. So, of course, I mentioned how I have the NHL Center Ice package here. You can see the partial Center Ice logo here, which has been great. Sportsnet was carrying this game. They were only carrying the second and third period. There are like 6 Sportsnet networks. They couldn't put the first period of this game on one of them. We had to get the Sportsnet Central, we had to get the talking heads after the other games on every single network. I'm bewildered. At least put it on Sportsnet 360, Sportsnet 1, one of them. You've got a million networks. Just throw it on one, just to humor me. So I watched the first period on the NHL.com NHL Live subscription I have. Good thing, too. We get Peterson versus Wedgwood in this one. Early jump for the Kings. The Kings started very well in this one. Coyotes would press at 4 minutes. They don't get shots out of it, though. And that was the problem for the Coyotes. Getting the zone time, not getting the shots. Iafallo can't bury one as the Kings press. Wedgwood covers the next chance for Iafallo. The shots halfway through the period, 7-3 for LA. Galchenyuk misses on a rush chance. Lizotte then had a chance that was saved. The Coyotes are, again, they're getting that zone time. They're looking dangerous. They're just not getting shots. Power play then for the Coyotes. Schmaltz has a chance that's saved and held. And that's the only shot of that power play for Arizona. With 1:10 left, the Kings get a power play. So that rolls over into the second period. The Coyotes do finish the kill. The Kings press at 3.5 minutes. Kaliev has a chance that's saved and held. Kopitar was denied. The Kings are controlling things. But the Coyotes get a 2-on-1. Hayden's denied. But on the next run, they're not. It's Keller from Schmaltz and Mosier at 6:25. It was a really nice cross-ice pass by Schmaltz, who, it's his birthday today, and he performs very well on his birthday, which is one of those weird oddities, right? He gets points and goals on his birthday. In this case, he got an assist tonight. So that made it 1-0. And first thought I had was, is LA getting goalied? Where Arizona's barely had any opportunities, and yet Arizona's ahead. I didn't have much time to think about it. 18 seconds later, Lizotte answers from Mikey Anderson and Brendan Lemieux. Lemieux then had a rush chance that was saved, but at 7:35, Arvidsson puts LA in the lead from Danault and Moore. That line continues to be fantastic. Really strong forecheck that gets that turnover in the Arizona zone, and then Arvidsson puts it in the net. Dursey then had a shot that tips high the Kings press. So now they have the lead, they have the momentum, everything's going their way. Boyd fires one wide as the Coyotes press back, but then Louis Eriksson. He gets his second goal of the season. He could get 30. So Louis Eriksson scores at 13:03 from Hayden and Kolyachonok. I apologize for anybody who did a spit take when I said he could get 30. So at 13:03, Kolyachonok with his first NHL point on the Louis Eriksson goal, and it's a tie game. The Coyotes then press with 3 minutes left. Dursey has a blast that misfires. Kopitar has a net feed that's covered, but after the second period, the LA's up in shots 27-14. It's a tie game. And again, I'm thinking to myself, so Arizona could steal this one because of their goaltender, which has been a storyline for Arizona this year. Third period, delay game call, gives the Kings a power play. Brown has a shot that deflects out, and Stralman basically saves a goal for Arvidsson. Arvidsson would have had a goal there, and Stralman blocks it. So it's killed off. There's one shot on net. So there's a post as well during that power play, and the Arvidsson goal that was saved by Stralman. So only one shot was actually saved by Wedgwood. Eriksson has a net feed then that wouldn't go. Keller's denied. Peterson really hasn't been busy. So what happens is Peterson hasn't had a shot the whole period, and Arizona gets 2 pretty good opportunities. And so again, you got to have that concern if you're the Kings of this. If one goes in, we could lose to Arizona when we're badly out shooting them. Then there's a near miss for Kessel on a rush. The momentum's with the Coyotes with 8.5 minutes left. Fisher has a rush chance that's saved as well. Fisher was throwing the body a lot tonight. And it felt like OT in the final 5 minutes because it was. The next goal was the winner. It's Arvidsson from Roy and Moore at 16:21. So Arvidsson with his second goal of the game. He's probably mumbling to himself, it should have been 3, stupid Stralman. But So down by 1. The Coyotes pull the goaltender with 3 minutes and 20 seconds left. Don't say Turini doesn't take chances. He does. 2:57 left. The Kings take a penalty. So now it's 6-on-4. But the Coyotes, with 1:49 left, they iced the puck. So they didn't get to center line before they dumped it in. So they have to put the goalie back in. They pull the goalie again with 1:20 left. They had some looks and opportunities, but nothing really too dangerous. And the Kings hold on. They win this one 3-2. They go to 27-17-7. So they stay ahead of Dallas. For Arizona, 13-34-4. Their hope for spoilage of the LA Kings night just comes up short. Your shots, 14-4 LA in the first, 13-10 LA in the second, and 8-5 LA in the third. Final shots, 35-19 for the Kings. Power plays, both teams go 0 for 2. Hits, 26-20 for LA. Peterson saves 17 out of 19. Wedgwood saves 32 out of 35. Very good game again for Wedgwood. And so for the Coyotes, they just come up short. So let's see, 13-34-4. I'm just trying to figure this out. So 31 points for Montreal, 30 points for Arizona. Montreal, you're no longer in 32nd in the NHL. So there you go. Montreal just moved up. I'm just looking at that and going, yeah, that's 31 points, and that's 30. Montreal now is ahead of Arizona. Congratulations. So, yeah, there you go. Let me know your thoughts regarding these games tonight. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happen upon this video. So from Licorice, who you can see after getting fixed, he's fine. You'd have no idea that, yeah, he's bounced back exceedingly fast. Faster than I did. Anyways, so thank you guys so much for all your support. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you again tomorrow.